What's up, guys? It's Weezy here, and welcome to my first look at PES 18. We're going to be playing the demo today. This is my first chance to play it at all. I haven't been hands-on with PES actually in a couple of years, so you're going to get my first impressions of it from playing it for the very first time. PES used to be one of my favorite games, or Winning 11 back in the PlayStation 2 days, and then it kind of fell off on some hard times. But now it's back. I've heard some really good things. But before we start the video, please leave a like down below on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you have any questions or comments about the series or about the game or about PES or about football or about FIFA or anything, please leave them down below. I'll make sure to call you out on any of our future videos. I look forward to hearing from you guys. So PES, what do they have? In terms of licensing, they've always been kind of second fiddle to FIFA. So they've always had kind of some of the riff-raff or stuff that they could steal away, kind of teams here and there. So right now what they've got is they've got an exclusive partnership with Barcelona, exclusive partnership with Dortmund, Liverpool, Valencia, Fulham of all teams, Flamengo, Corinthians, River Plate, Independiente in Argentina, Colo Colo, Universidad de Chile, and then teams from Lima, Peru, and Sporting Cristal from Peru. So very random group of teams that they've officially sponsored. Barcelona, Dortmund, Liverpool, Valencia. Obviously, you don't have to worry about those not being in FIFA because those teams are there from their league licenses in FIFA. Fulham, I think, same deal. I think they have a deal with the championship. Corinthians and Flamengo are two of the ones that I don't believe are in FIFA because they don't have a Brazilian league license, so they're going to have to purchase all the other teams. So PES have these two, and FIFA have all the rest of the ones that they've purchased. So it's very scattered in terms of Brazil. You haven't really seen it pick one side or the other. The league license isn't in either game, so that's why you see these teams kind of split. Same thing with some of the other teams. The Peru teams, I don't know if EA's even approached them, and the Universidad de Chile and Colo Colo, I don't know if they're exclusive, so those have also been in FIFA. There's other licenses as well. They have Arsenal, which is not exclusive, but it is officially licensed in PES. Liga, Ligue 2, so you'll have all of those teams. The Italian league, so the Serie A, except for Juventus. Juventus is one team that's not in there, I think, because FIFA purchased that exclusive license. So you have every other Italian team except for Juventus. They're called like Black and White or whatever they're called in PES. Atletico Madrid. They have the Eredivisie, they have Porto, Benfica, and Lisbon, as well as the UEFA Champions League and UEFA Europa League licenses. So that gives them official licenses of some scattered teams across Europe, as well as a bunch of scattered teams from Latin America and the AFC, so the Asian Football League. From a stadium standpoint, they've got exclusives for the Camp Nou and the Signal Iduna, or the Borussia Dortmund Stadium, which you guys are well familiar with from last year's FIFA, but now that's going to be a PES exclusive. So the new camp this will be the second year that they're in there, so don't expect to see that in FIFA, as well as the Signal Iduna or the Westfalenstadion in Dortmund. Anfield is in there. That's not exclusive. Neither is the Wanda Metropolitano, which is the new Atletico Madrid Stadium, so no more of the old, can't even remember the name of the old Atletico Madrid Stadium, which basically had a big C shape with one side on it. I can't remember the name of it, it's escaping me now. But their old stadium is out and in with the new one, so that's going to be in both games, as well as the San Siro, the Stadio Olimpico, and the St. Jacob Park, where Basel from Switzerland plays. So a very random one there. And then a bunch of scattered Brazilian stadiums, and of course they've got all of their generic ones. So that's it in terms of the licenses. So as you guys can see, they do have a bunch of leagues in there. You can play with these teams like Manchester United and stuff like that, but you are going to have to change the names of it. So a little bit annoying on that front, but that's okay. We'll see how it goes. So why don't we jump into that? You've heard enough of me talking about the licenses and stuff. You guys can look up all that information on their website, but let's check out the gameplay. Alright guys, so let's get into some of the gameplay here. So I actually made a mistake. I ended up playing the first two games that I thought were recording, but I wasn't recording, so stupid on my part. I don't know what I was thinking there, but that's okay because it got some of the kinks worked out. So learning how to play PES was very challenging at first, so I realized that I had no idea what the buttons were. So the buttons are very similar to FIFA, but they're kind of inverse. So shooting obviously is square, passing is still X, but you know, lob, pass, and everything is O. Slide tackles O instead of square. Like, it's just everything's kind of flip-flop. So having to learn those the hard way. All the dimensions of the buttons, not dimensions, all the buttons have some similar functionality in terms of there's like a face-up dribble, which I have a feeling FIFA stole from PES, but that is in the game. So why don't we jump into a game and you guys can actually see what I'm talking about now that I've had one practice game out of the way and it won't be sucky to watch. So let's get into the play now here. They've got exhibition mode, co-op, which I don't know what co-op is, 3-on-3 cooperative mode. When you don't have enough users, you can always play with the comm. So that would be interesting to try out. We can maybe try that out in the second game or not, whatever. I'm not sure what co-op is or if anyone's ever going to use it. So why don't we start off with my boys from Inter, and let's play against Colo Colo here. So obviously you can change the uniforms. You know, they've got just the 2 uniforms for both teams. I don't know if they'll have third jerseys in here, but it doesn't really matter that much. There's only 2 stadiums. They've only got the 2, the Signal Iduna and the Camp Nou. So we'll use the Signal Iduna because we'll try playing with Barcelona the next time. They have some really interesting things that you can change in terms of the setting, like the weather, the time of day, the length of grass, which I have no idea what that does or why that's necessary, but maybe it just slows the ball down. But I didn't end up playing with any of that stuff, so it doesn't really matter. And then in terms of game plan, very simple in terms of being able to go in and pick players out of the lineup that you want to change. There's a bench. The funny one is when I was trying with Barcelona, Barcelona's bench was incredibly short. They didn't even have like reserves on it. There was just like a very small amount of players. So I don't know if that's going to change for the final build, because they still had obviously Neymar and Arda Turan. Well, Arda Turan's still there, but they still had Neymar and a couple other guys that I have a feeling will probably be on the move. And obviously a lot of the transfer deadline guys haven't been moved yet. So this is an older build, and you know, you're still getting guys like Ever Banega's not at Inter anymore. So interesting in that standpoint, but obviously they had to release this a lot early. In terms of what you're doing from a tactical standpoint, you can change the formation, or wow, all out attack. Okay, so I think you can just change the formation, or you can actually go in and play around with, how do you, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know how to change that, but whatever, we're not going to change it anyway. So it looks like you can probably go in and change how attacking and how defensive certain players are, but we're not going to screw with any of that stuff because that stuff's boring right now, and it's probably not really that necessary. I didn't really feel like playing around with it. I just wanted to get into a game, so we're just going to leave it as defaults. But if you do want to play around with it, go check it out, because I think you can add quite a bit. And I would assume that it does make quite the difference, and especially with formation. I did notice playing with Barcelona and stuff like that, that you were getting players hanging out on the right or hanging out on the left or playing a lot more defensive. So changing a lot of those elements would be very important for you, especially if you're playing in MYCLUB. In terms of the presentation, awesome. Like, look at this. Like, the Signal Iduna, for example, like, it didn't really have a lot of presence in FIFA. It just felt like you were playing in a single-tiered stadium, but it is very, like, big and, like, overwhelming to see. So, like, the depth of the stadium, like, just makes it feel very ominous and, like, massive. And, like, if you were playing against Dortmund, that's what it would feel like you're playing against, like, a crowd of, like, 100,000 people just on top of you. Like, look at that. In terms of the visuals, FIFA's got a long way to go. Like, that's very impressive to me to see that. So in terms of like the players and stuff like that, the presentation wise, PES is definitely up there. There's my boy Ever. Looks kind of like a gargoyle, so we're not gonna touch that anymore because that's my boy. I can't diss my boy here. In terms of like the buttons, I don't want to say it's delayed, but you obviously have to kind of pre-plan where you're going to go with it. You can't just kind of ticky-taka your way around, because it does require a little bit more thought process. It does play a lot more like, I want to say real life, because I don't necessarily want to say real life, but you do have to kind of plan where you go, and you can't just spam passing all the time and hope that you're just going to unlock defenses like you can in FIFA. FIFA is a lot more about abusing the game mechanics and playing it like a video game, whereas like this is a lot more realistic. It's good and bad. It's good in the sense that you can actually be rewarded for having an understanding of the sport, but it's also bad in the sense that, yeah, I think that it's a little bit slower, and it's not as... It wouldn't be as easy to just come back and score a goal. Like in FIFA, I feel like you're not really down and out, whereas like you'll figure out pretty quickly who the better player is in PES. Which, you know, creating a skill gap isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for some people, I could see why they don't want to play it. Especially if you're a noob and you don't know a lot about the sport itself, this could probably be a very frustrating game to play because you do need to understand how to unlock. See, as you guys saw at the start, like I was just hitting pass aimlessly, and it wasn't really unlocking any defenses. So you actually have to draw players out. There's a L2 does this, it does the face-up dribble. All this really does is just kind of like draw attention, especially if you're around the opponent's penalty area. So as you'll see here, I'll do the L2, and it just draws guys. They just rush to you basically. So it's good because if you do that, you can draw a defender. See there, he came rushing in, and you can actually play him in behind. Oh, that was a fantastic finish. Who was that? Gagliardini. And I like this Selly. Oh yeah! So there's also custom celebrations, which I don't know if they just stole that from FIFA or what. Whoa, what's happening here? Whoa, I don't know what he did there. He just went sprinting off. But yeah, that was interesting. So you can do a custom celebration, but then it goes into what looks like to be a preloaded celebration. Preloaded was what I always expected from PES. Used to have that, which was really cool because like the Suarez would do like the wrist kiss, and then he would do his own celebration, so you didn't have to manually tell him to do that. But now he'll do it anyway, but you can kind of do a celebration, and then he does a second celebration after it, which is really bizarre. So as you guys see here, like, okay, they didn't show it, but I went in and did the spin, and then it went into like a cutscene. So it's kind of a little bit of overkill. Also, it does like so many replays you have to cancel out. So like if you were playing online and you were playing against some idiot that was really frustrating, I could see that being really annoying because you could just sit there watching replays over and over. Tackling is very tough. You have to double tap. You have to double tap X in order to tackle, in order to put a tackle in, or you can just position your guy, which doesn't always work, but it, yeah, it's a very annoying thing to have to do, to have to double tap X. I was hoping that it was just going to be squared. Sorry, I got caught up in the gameplay here. I thought I was going to score a wonder goal here with Kandreva. I'm still trying to figure out how to score long shots. Long shots are not the easiest things to score. All the goals that I've scored so far, I only scored a couple in the first couple games, maybe like 5 or 6. But all of them were within the area. They were kind of finessed or like just powered into the top corner, or just like low driven kind of shot into the far post, which isn't a terrible thing. I don't want to see like shots. I don't want to see shots, you know, driven into like the far post every time you take a shot. That would be really annoying. Like just guys hammering like long shots and scoring all these all the time. Like I like the fact that there's variety in this. There doesn't seem to be any mechanics that you can overly abuse. It looks like everything is very contextual, and like that, for example, like I had pressure on me, so he sprayed it. So in FIFA, whereas you'd probably just finesse that into the top corner and kind of bend it in, and sometimes it will cause a save, but a lot of the time they'll score from certain areas. Like you know what shots are for the most part going to go in. In PES, it looks like the actual quality of the player is dependent on whether he's going to put these shots in, but there's a lot of variety in it. Like you don't necessarily take a shot with a Cardi and just be like, oh, this is going to go in because I'm in this spot. You know, it's something that you definitely have to just take shots and hope for the best, kind of. There's a lot of variety and a lot of variation in terms of the shooting. So that's really good. I don't want to have to play games and just be like, oh, this is a goal, because I know when this guy's in this position, he's definitely going to score it. It's unpredictable, and that's what I want to see from a football game. I want to see guys have to actually like earn their goals, and it's sometimes getting bailed out by the computer, you know, not maybe hitting the ball as square as you'd like. But In FIFA, that's not the case. FIFA, it's a lot more like, oh, okay, the guy knows how to take a low-driven shot, or this guy scored 3 curling finesse shots in this game. Like, he obviously knows how to abuse it, and he's just going to score these over and over and over again, and I can't stop it. So you're not going to get that in PES. So that's good. Get going, Banega. I have no idea how to skill dribble. Whoops, clearly. I was thinking about trying to move there. Kondogbi is really good at this, actually. Whoop. I can't figure out what this is. When you get the ball and you're holding L2, I don't know what that is. If it's just supposed to be like an indicator of where your pass is going to go, but I could not figure out what that's doing. It's really just kind of showcasing what direction you're pointing in. Also, the players around like things like... Oh, there is a fake shot. Like that. Like, that would never go in FIFA. Oh, Banega! That finesse shot's kind of weak looking. That animation was pretty crappy, but the finesse shot's very hard to get off. It's R2 and square, so... Is that what it... I don't remember what finesse shot is actually off the top of my head in FIFA now, but R2 and square, it didn't feel natural. Maybe it's just because you have to hit square, but... R2, I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with the buttons, but R2 was definitely something that I wasn't used to having to use when I started playing this. It was like, I just kept wanting to hit sprint with it, and it was not going anywhere. Sprint is actually R1 on the controls, so that was another thing to get used to. And change player is L1, which, you know, obviously understandable there. It feels a little bit more natural now, but it's really weird getting used to L1 being sprint, or R1 being sprint. Alright, Banega, get going. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that fake shot a lot. I need to figure out what skill moves are. I feel like skill moves would be very useful. The thing that I really liked about skill moves in this was skill moves are actually specific per player. So just because there's no like 5-star, you can just do a Rabona, or you can do a McGeady turn or whatever. Like, players have an allocated skill moves that they can do. So just because, like I said, you have 5-star skills doesn't mean you can do like a Hocus Pocus. It just doesn't automatically mean you can do that. The guy actually has to have Hocus Pocus on his player card in order for it to... Oh my god. Oh my god, what is happening? Yeah, the player actually has to have Hocus Pocus on his player card in order to make sense. Oh my god, what a ball that was. Oh, smart by the keeper. But yeah, he has to have that actual trait on his player card in order to be able to pull it off in game. So that was really cool because every player has individual skill moves associated with them. So like step overs, for example, I think were something that Messi could do. And the Rabona was something that he could do. And I don't remember what the other ones were. Oh my god, this Handanovic. Just bailing me out. Oh my god. This is on regular, so this is not on beginner or amateur. I was expecting the computer to put some, like, more of these away. Playing around with it in the back. Look at that ball. Yeah, that'd be very frustrating. But, like, again, that's the type of stuff in FIFA you'd expect to score because you just know that if you're in the area and you take, like, a low driven, for example, it's just going to go in. But in PES, there's a lot more variety, so it's just like a 50-50 whether that's going to go in or not. Defending is obviously a lot more manual. Oh god, get there. Yeah, like that. You guys saw in that case, I actually lunged out, so that was not good. Whoop. You can also get passes away in really tight quarters, which is nice. Oh, come on, Icardi. Wow, my god, Gary Medel. What's his sprint speed? Oh, bad pass there. Oh, that tackle though. Okay, so you obviously, slide tackles are very, very dangerous. You can get cards very easily in this game from slide tackling guys. Even that animation from the referee I like a lot, um, in terms of the talking to. Oh, I thought that was a good tackle. But yeah, I don't think I've executed a slide tackle once in this game that has not been called a foul, so they're very challenging to do. So end of the first half, 2-0. Actually, sorry, that's the end of the game, 2-0. So 2-0 win from Inter there. You know, let's get into a second game. We won't look at the animations too much there because I've talked about presentations. Obviously, like I said, highlights just will play over and over and over until you get rid of them. So that's a bit annoying. But in terms of the visuals, really awesome. I like the way they've got in the demo the quick link to the store so you can actually purchase this right away. But yeah, other than that, let's just get into a second game. All right, game 2. So let's jump into this. Barcelona and Liverpool. Let's do that. Nobody likes Liverpool, right? So, unless you like Liverpool, sorry. Let's change the stadium, though. We want to play in the Camp Nou. Why don't we try changing some of these things? Season, time, night, weather, rainy. Let's try rainy. Length of grass, short. Let's see if that makes any difference. Yeah, other than that, like, look at the team lineups. Like, there's not actually a lot of players on this bench. Like, you can tell, obviously, with Neymar being there, this is a very early build. So hopefully, I mean, they've got exclusive license to Barcelona. I'm hoping that they add some players into it because that's a pretty short bench. There's not a lot of options on there. Kind of disappointing, especially because Inter had, like, super deep bench. It looks like they had their reserves on there. And Barcelona, like, especially with Barca B, people love adding them to, like, their dynasties and whatnot. So their career modes. So, yeah, hopefully they add that. Wow, look at the Nou Camp. Nou Camp looks great. So, as I said in the previous game, like, they do such a good job. They even added those, like, cards that, like, the crowd hold up. And, like, the tunnel, like, everything they're doing presentation-wise is just so good from Konami's standpoint. Yeah, they're holding up those cards. Like, that's really cool. That is really cool. Like, just the amount of detail, even on the cameramen and everything. Like, FIFA's got such a long way to go in terms of presentation to catch up to this. Very impressed so far, actually, in terms of that. I'm interested to see if they've added tattoos. I don't know if they have tattoos on players. Oh, yeah, they do. They have Messi's tattoo. And Rakitic. Wow, that's really cool. They have Felipe Coutinho's. No, none on Coutinho. So it looks like they've just selected. Neymar's got his. So it looks like they've kind of selected the players they wanted to put tattoos on, which is whatever. I mean, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But it's a nice little added feature when you see players have, like, those types of details. Like, look at Neymar. He's got that neck one. He's got the one behind his ear. Yeah, it's cool. Cool little addition. All right, Liverpool. Let's get into this. Are those the new Liverpool kits? Can't tell. Wow, squad list. Okay, it gives you the entire squad. Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, Lallana. Yeah, player likenesses are always just so good in this game. Sadio Mane. Problems. What a start to the season he's had. It's transfer deadline day too, so I'm very interested to see what you guys think is going to happen. Do you think Coutinho's going to go somewhere? You know, who else do you think? Liverpool looks like they're making some crazy moves. Like, you don't expect Liverpool to be doing that stuff. Oh, thought I was going to be able to work that through there. Get going, Rakitic. Get going, Rakitic. Oh, what? See, I always think the game's freezing, but it's actually just the animation stopping. I still have no idea what skill moves are. I should probably look that up. The other thing too is, since I'm not used to PES, I don't know what tactically you can do. I'm interested to learn from some of you PES guys whether there's kind of a on-the-go type of tactics you can change like they have in FIFA. Like, okay, I want to go attacking now, or I want to go defensive, or I want to change to counterattack, or all-out attack, or whatever it is. Anything that's on the fly, because it doesn't look like the D-pad does anything. Whoa, God, that was not a good place to do that. Whoops, okay. So, lesson learned, don't play with your tactics when PK has it with Firmino running him down. Okay, lesson learned there. Still not used to L1 being the change player. That one's still a weird one to me. Oh, great ball. Oh my, what a tackle from Jordi Alba. Okay. That ran down pretty easy from there. Oh God. Get back him, TD. Oh, my lord. What? Come on, Rakitic, get going. The player awareness was a little lacking there. Very scrambly. Some FIFA aids going on there. We'll call it PES aids. But all the players looked like they were pretty well aware of what was happening. Like, there wasn't any kind of dumb, like, lack of awareness, other than Rakitic's, oh, that was cool with the touch on the... Oh my God. Interesting. Wow, what am I doing? Yeah, other than Rakitic's lack of awareness on that pass, that ball that just came at him, like, whoa. Yeah, it's very. I find the shooting to be very difficult. Like trying to get my fingers over to square and R2 to finesse a shot doesn't feel natural. It's not like I'm gravitating over there to try and finesse shots from outside the box. I don't know if finesse is something that you really only just want to do in the area anyway, because I haven't played enough PES yet, but yeah, it's definitely something that I'm not sure how to attack. Oh my God, okay, there's a goal. What are these? Full celebration. Alright, so there it is. Yeah, you press full celebration. He does his custom wrist kiss. Yeah, I'm not sure if finesse is something that you want to be able to do outside the box, or if finesse is really only something that you want to do in the area in order to just pass the ball past the keeper or what. But great ball in from Sergi Roberto, and wow, what a hit. Like, all the goals that I've scored feel like I've had to create them. None of them are just nonsensical running up the field smashing long shots, so that's been really great. Probably will go in my final analysis of the actual game itself, but yeah, great from that standpoint. I really enjoy the fact that you have to create in PES. So far so good with that. So is the right stick doing something there? I was trying to play with the right stick here. Okay. And I'm still not really sure if shield is a button. Can't really figure that out yet. I have a feeling that shield is a button. If I do shield here, I don't know if I'm manually shielding the ball. I still can't figure out what that arrow is, like what that's really doing. I have a feeling that it's shielding and that's the direction that you're shielding the ball to, maybe. But other than that, maybe somebody can tell me what the heck is going on there. Possession-wise, killing it. Yeah, the computer on normal is not really that challenging. They're not bad, but they don't score. I don't know if I've had a goal scored against me yet. Oh, wow, that ball through, though. See, I will try a finesse shot here. So, yeah, I don't know whether that's something you just want to do when you're in tight, because it looked like he adjusted his body to fit it. Let's look again. So this was finesse. Yeah, I can't really tell where finesse is useful, when it's useful, like why you do it, when to do it, what not to do with finesse. Oh my god, another great stop. These animations on the keeper. Get in there. Oh god. Oh, that's a great ball. Oh, how did he miss that? Take that down from, Yeah, the computer on this level of difficulty is obviously not that hard, so you might want to challenge yourself a little bit more if you want to actually play against, excuse me, if you want to play against a computer that's actually scoring goals instead of just wasting opportunities. Obviously, nobody wants to get scored on, but if you're just winning every game like 4 or 5-0, then there's not really much of a challenge, is there? Yeah, I like the way passes get through, though. Sergio Roberto. Players that can't shoot, definitely you can feel it too as well. So a player like Luis Suarez, like he's going to actually be able to score goals where you're not going to score very many goals with like, Umtiti or PK. So another benefit from PES in that standpoint. Like players actually play to their strengths. So that's a real plus. Because you do not, at least I do not, I don't want to play against guys that are just playing with PK and shooting and scoring goals with Gerard PK from like 25 yards. It's just nonsense. If he's scoring the odd header here and there, I get it, but you don't want him coming up the field. Wow, that's a ball from James Milner. For me, no trash in this game, apparently. Yeah, I want guys that are goal scorers to score the goals. Okay, just as I said he's trash, he scores that. So, serves me right, never fails. Is that his real Selly? Daniel Sturridge scored last time I played against Liverpool. He scored their goal. So, Daniel Sturridge, bane of my existence, comes on as a sub scores. Look at that. Near post header. The animation's great. Everything was fluid with that. Very impressive. Okay. Let's get out of that. I also like the single player kickoff. Whoa. Get going, Messi. Get going, Messi. Oh, Lionel. That felt good, though. I mean, making this run, actually baiting the defender, fake shot, and then finessing it. And the ball curve, everything. Like, I'm okay missing those shots. Like, in FIFA, I get very frustrated because those might be the only opportunity and you expect them to score, but yeah, in this, like, I was okay with that. Get going, Messi. Oh, why didn't I take that in more? Now that was an opportunity that I wish I didn't squander. I just went radio silent there. I was expecting him to continue walking in. Instead, he stopped dead in his tracks and took the shot. I scored another goal in the game that I forgot to record, where I actually walked in and then just finessed a little ball past the keeper with Messi, and it just felt so Messi-esque. I was really impressed with that. But in that case, that was very awful. None of those passes went to where I wanted them to. Neither did that. So, I don't know what Liverpool's doing, if they're pressing right now, but it seems to be causing me some problems here. They don't seem to take things in stride, which is very frustrating. Get there, Iniesta. Oh my God. I do like the fact that you can kind of wiggle your way through, though. That was really handy. Like, you don't have to worry about skill moves and face up dribble and everything like that. You could just kind of like pass your way through the defenders. But you have to be smart about how you're passing. Like, you can't just hit spam pass and just hope that the defenders just run around aimlessly. Like, here you had to be a little bit smarter about where I was going with that, so that was definitely handy. Oh my God, sold me hard there. Oh, is that it? Damn it. Alright, so 1-1. I don't know if there's any extra time in this, but we'll take the 1-1 with Liverpool. Definitely a spirited affair. Looks like they were pressing a lot harder at the end there. So, yeah, so why don't we finish this up and I'll get into my final thoughts. So my final thoughts on PES 2018, very impressive, very far they've come from where they were a couple years ago. They have made massive improvements to the game. Whether it's esports ready, whether it's online ready, that'll be the telltale sign. Obviously playing against a computer, it's a very good single player experience. I really enjoyed it. It's challenging. You can find a level that works for you. It plays a lot more realistic football than FIFA. However, two things are still going to stick out to me that still make FIFA the winner in this, in my opinion. One is going to be the licensing. The licensing is always going to be a big deal, especially for us FUT guys. We like to have as many players as possible in the game, or career mode. You want to have those right players, right kits, right teams, right jerseys, right stadiums, this and that. You want to have as much authenticity as possible. And two, the other thing is going to be that FIFA just plays more fluid. It's quicker pace. It plays more of a video game. And at the end of the day, that's what you're playing a video game. If I was playing single offline, I could see PES competing a lot more. If I was playing career mode, I could see it being more of a toss-up between the two. I'd be very interested to play a career mode or an offline game mode for PES, as well as playing that for FIFA, because PES obviously does play very realistic. I like the fact that you have to create opportunities. It's not just find where the soft spots are on the field, find where the shooting tactics that you can abuse are, just over shield, over high press. There's a lot of elements of FIFA that are just, people play to the craziest degree and then they figure out what works and then they just make tutorials on it and abuse it. And that's what's annoying to me about FIFA. Whereas PES doesn't feel like it has that. Of course, I've only played a couple games in the demo, so take that for what it is. But any experience that I've ever seen with PES, it looks like you actually have to create. It doesn't mean that, hey, I'm just going to go on counterattacks, play ultra defensive, and then just find some speed demon to rush up the field with some ridiculous formation and score cheese goals all the time. PES requires you to actually think and play realistic football. However, some of the downsides of realistic football, being a little too slow, a little too methodical, can be almost detrimental. At the end of the day, this is a video game. People like to play it, and they want to play an actual fast-paced game that they can play in 15 minutes and have a lot of fun, score a lot of goals. And FIFA might not be as realistic sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's a very fun game to play. However, with that being said, huge improvements on PES. Very, very impressive. I do recommend it. I'm very interested to try MYCLUBs this year, try some of the legends, try some of these officially licensed players and stadiums and teams that have come through. So in terms of my impressions, I would give PES an 8.5 would be my final score. So very good, very good, very good from PES. I'm very impressed with it. Feels really awesome. I could see a lot of people wanting to make the move over. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that, but at the same time, I'm very impressed. So I do give it 2 thumbs up, an 8.5 overall. So I do recommend check it out. Try the demo, and if you want to, pre-order the game. It should be out very shortly. Okay, until next time, guys, take care. Peace.